Today is Thursday, October 17th. This is Noreen Johnson, and here are the good news headlines of the day. Vice President Kamala Harris came undone during an interview on Wednesday night when confronted over her campaign's A New Way Forward slogan. The moment came during a contentious interview with Fox News host Bret Baier when he asked her how she would be different from President Joe Biden, a question that she has avoided answering. He asked her, "Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years, so what are you turning the page from?" Harris responded, "Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which we have been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other, rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up." And then this, the U.S. Department of Defense announced Wednesday that it will provide Ukraine with an additional $425 million worth of supplies and weapons as it continues to defend itself against Russian forces. According to a press release from the DoD, this is the 67th tranche of equipment from DoD inventories being sent to Ukraine from the Biden administration since August of 2021. The Presidential Drawdown Authority package is estimated to hold a value of about $425 million and will provide Ukraine with the ability to meet its most urgent needs in terms of air defense, air-to-ground weapons, rocket systems and artillery munitions, armored vehicles, and anti-tank weapons. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said this on Wednesday. The United States is committed to supporting Ukraine with the equipment it needs to strengthen its position on the battlefield, defend its territory and people from the Kremlin's brutal aggression, and secure a just and lasting peace. As President Biden has made clear, the United States and the international coalition we have assembled will continue to stand with Ukraine. Official data on Ukrainian battlefield casualties are unreliable, but the U.S. estimates that some 70,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed and between 100,000 and 120,000 wounded. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the goal is to mobilize up to 500,000 additional conscripts for future war efforts. In other news, former President Trump is ahead of Vice President Kamala Harris in the presidential contest at 50 to 48%, according to a new Fox News national survey. That is a reversal from last month when Harris had a narrow advantage. Harris, however, is ahead by 6 points among voters from the 7 key battleground states, and the candidates are tied at 49% each among voters in close counties. Trump's advantage comes from a larger share in counties he won by more than 10 points in 2020 than Harris has in counties Biden won by more than 10 points. That raises the question of whether the Democrat could win the Electoral College while losing the national popular vote. In 2000 and 2016, it was the GOP candidate who lost the popular vote but won the Electoral College. President Donald Trump said this week that the solution to stopping men from playing in women's sports was to simply ban it at the federal level through executive action. Trump made the remarks during a Fox News town hall with female voters Wednesday afternoon with host Harris Faulkner. When asked, nearly every woman in the audience raised their hand and said that men pretending to be women playing in women's sports was a serious concern for them. Linda from Georgia asked Trump this: "How do you plan on addressing the transgender issue in women's sports?" Trump said this: "It's such an easy question, and everybody in the room, and you know that answer. We're not going to let it happen." The woman who posed the question expressed her concern about her female grandchildren playing sports and their safety not just on the field and the courts, but in their locker rooms as well. President Trump highlighted examples of men dominating women in sports where women are being hurt and the men are shattering records. And then today, October 17th, we celebrate the feast day of St. Ignatius of Antioch. St. Ignatius's great concern was for the unity and order of the church. He did not draw attention to his own suffering, but to the love of God which strengthened him. He knew the price of commitment and would not deny Christ even to save his own life. Do you ever wonder who was the first person to call the community Jesus established the Catholic Church? It was St. Ignatius of Antioch. It was his way of explaining that the church was open to anyone who wanted to be a follower of Jesus. St. Ignatius, pray for us. And those are your daily good news headlines. This is Catholics for Catholics. May God bless you, and may God bless the USA.